You know, one of my favorite interactions in Magic the Gathering is the old Tarmogoyf getting lightning bolted story. And this one you probably heard if you're an experienced player, but the interaction of what happens when you lightning bolt a Tarmogoyf is always interesting for rules. And I want to go over it with you, just in case you're not familiar. So imagine this situation, right? You've got a Tarmogoyf, which its power and toughness are equal to the number of different kinds of cards in all graveyards, plus 1 for toughness, okay? So imagine the state where you and your opponent together have, let's say, a land and a creature in the graveyard, okay? So right now on board, your Tarmogoyf is a 2/3, okay? So you say, go to attack. I attack you with my Tarmogoyf. Your opponent says, okay. In response, I lightning bolt your Tarmogoyf. And then you're like, cool, hit you for 3. And your opponent goes, no. I just killed your Tarmogoyf. I did 3 damage to it. And you're like, no. Thank you for casting the lightning bolt. My Tarmogoyf is now a 3/4. What happened? Well, this gets into a situation where this thing called state-based actions really takes effect, okay? So state-based actions is this thing that happens every time priority is passed, okay? So it's all these things that are checked in the rules every time priority is passed, one of them being, does anybody lose the game? Like, are you at 0 life? You'll lose the game. Do you have an empty library and you're trying to draw from it? You lose the game, okay? Stuff like that. But the important thing here is when the Tarmogoyf gets bolted, it will take 3 damage, okay? So your opponent casts Lightning Bolt, it hits the Tarmogoyf, it'll take 3 damage. Now, after that spell goes off the stack, state-based actions get checked. The Tarmogoyf gets looked at to say, well, how much damage has been dealt to it? And it looks and it says, well, I've had 3 damage dealt to me, but at the same time, the toughness is also checked. And now, because that Lightning Bolt is also in the graveyard, you now have a land, a creature, and an instant in the graveyard, making the Tarmogoyf a 3/4. And at state-based actions, it says, well, I've dealt 3 damage to your Tarmogoyf, but its toughness is now 4 at the same time, so it doesn't die. This is one of those things that confuses new players, but you, if you're an experienced player, probably are familiar with state-based actions and how they work. If not, go look up the rules. It's a good read. And if you do, it'll make you a better Magic player. Yep, Bolt and the Goyf, one of my favorite interaction stories.